editor at National Journal Hotline. Kirk Bado, thank you so much for joining us. Let's talk about the trade changes from Trump's first term, then Biden's administration, and now Trump's second term. Now the trade truce is due to expire on November 10th. So what does this tell us about the direction of this current administration?
Well, I think this administration is really thinking now about consumers. Like the first wave of these Trump tariffs right now rose the price of goods exponentially. We saw inflation spike over the course of the spring and summer as they went back and forth on these retaliatory tariffs. Now, if they do have some sort of framework of a deal, if that deal gets finalized with China, it's going to come at a great time for the American consumer. What we're thinking here is that, people are starting to think now about the holiday shopping season. They're thinking about what's the state of the economy right now. If Trump can get a deal in place with China to lower those tariffs, to avoid any of the retaliatory tariffs that he has threatened and that China has threatened as well, right during the biggest shopping season of the year, I think voters' concerns about the economy, about the price of goods, that's going to go down a little bit, and that's going to be a big win for Trump.
All right, and turning now to Washington, where the government is still closed. The shutdown now on day 26. The New York Times is reporting the $130 million donor who gave money to help pay the military during this shutdown was billionaire Trump supporter Timothy Mellon. The donation equates to about $100 per service member. Does this development ultimately help or hurt the president in the long run?
I think it's more of a head scratcher here. Timothy Mellon's a very private individual, but he's also one of the most prolific donors to Trump politics in the last about decade or so. He also donated about $50 million or so to a PAC that helped Trump win the election last year. It was the largest single donation disclosed from that PAC. $130 million is absolutely a lot of money, but when you think of it in terms of the giant $billion, trillion of Pentagon budget to pay the service members, like you said, it only equates out to about $100 per service member here. I think this is more about endearing favor with Trump than with folks inside Trump's orbit than necessarily fixing the government shortfall right now and helping reopen the government.
Right, good point. Moving on now to the escalations in the Caribbean and Latin America. White House Deputy Chief of Staff Stephen Miller dodged questions when asked about the potential for ground troops on Venezuelan soil. Take a listen.
I would not now or ever get into any detailed discussion to address any of the things mentioned in your question in any way, but I do want to address the broader issue of narcotics and the war on cartels and foreign terrorist organizations. So Venezuela, of course, is a central hub for narcotics trafficking across the Western Hemisphere. These are terrorists, and they're going to be killed.
The administration has not provided evidence that the boats that they struck were trafficking drugs. What are we hearing about the legal repercussions of this move?
Well, I think there's actually huge legal implications here right now. Trump is very focused on foreign policy during his second administration here. You can see that his lack of attention right now to the shutdown going on here in D.C. And he's focusing on the trip to Asia and also escalating this war in Venezuela. I mean, they're using the same type of justifications. These folks are narco-terrorists that you heard almost 25 years ago during the invasion of Afghanistan, that these are enemy combatants here. The difference is that at least when the Bush administration was escalating military activity in Afghanistan, they went to Congress for approval first. These are all unilateral moves right now from the administration. And I think one of the most telling developments here is that after they blew up one of these alleged drug smuggling boats, they captured they took two of these folks who were on the boat prisoner, but instead of keeping them in the United States and prosecuting them like you would for drug smugglers previously or in any other part of the country, they repartitioned them back to Ecuador, and Ecuador said we don't have enough evidence to charge them. I think this is a very legal gray area, to put it lightly. I think the administration knows that as well, and that's why they're using these terms about narco-terrorists to try to justify these unilateral actions.
Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and download our NewsNation app right now on your phone, and you will get fact-based, unbiased news for all Americans.